Unim say Ghana yehu pa. Ghana is so dangerous. Unim reason why I'm say Ghana yehu. Nya botre je kunwa na mention the reason why say Ghana ayehu. Unim say aban approve LGBTQ plus, that's gay. Obe implement no ewo secondary school. As a better Asem so no aha Ghana blog media. Me sure say oba so na wa subscribe no emia notification bell no. Say na be anytime be upload video bi an obe bi na wa share. We like it na share ma wunu na no so e bi hwe. Isa say saa asem ya me di ebe ebusia ehu hia e de ma wo ene me. Ene ye ma na omo secondary school no. Ye mo de ne ya hia ase ya advice ye ma no. Say school no omo ko no. Bibi say na eba be ko so bibi say na aban no ebe implement. Ti omo ye very careful. See, you share picture ya, yede me de air to see, and san ya to accept.
I was for breaking news. A gay homosexuality and LGBTQ no afraid the John Hammer Bano a G2. I was for a Reverend Tim Forjo, member of Parliament for a Ascent South. And I didn't crata about one thing, sir, and crata Ghana Bino a printed a day comma a Ghana secondary school. Now, crata no, you are quite friend of teachers manual. And no, a crata teacher for her so the chain cranadi. Sa krata no mu na Jo Mahama ban no es teacher for no enko kire Ghana momma no se ye wo abofra na otuedua enye na kye so ye bema na mum nipa no nyini na ofile se oyoba ye nyintum se oyoba mote de mekan no se oba bema bafi from secondary school Mahama se ye enko kire no se even though otuedua de but ofili inside say oyoba ani yenyintum so oyoba na bema fofo betim nada ye kwa akokire wo ma ade senior he asofo awofo man sorry adwomama obesem mo na wakire mo. Let me read from one document and naka e dia ba bonten a Ghana buying through the Ministry of Education agietum a ye de ba be kire mo ma de ti wo say gender identity. It refers to a person's deeply felt internal experiences of gender, which may or may not correspond with the sex assigned at birth. See, or say, yeah, no, even though say you've been assigned, either say your bar, you call your own assembly, you will maybe who I chess your bar, and you will know a bema, you will never who I chess your bema. Now, so Jomhama binds ye and coach them almost a canoe to say Debbie. And yes, said be dear with you and my bema. And I said, be any bar, I won't know your bar. Now, so say, Unim, no, ufili say, even though to a dear bar your bar. Bear my for bit to me know what that, if it's a what year to himself or your bar. It was for, and to Oba bear my fee, secondary school buffy. No, but catch yourself in or your bar. And near my job, I'm a buying, saying, coach your mamma, it was secondary school. No. This information is contained in teacher's manual. You can teacher's manual, teacher for the moon, my crow. Krata teacher for the church school for a day. And no, the actual woman say teacher from qua or mon coach them on man say. And yes, Sabi, do ya mutia and a mom ya bema. Never say nippany a bema pono or Felisa or your bar, yen tumsa or your bar. Buy a bone so cratches say ye or bar and a bema kwa. Now you were near my wall while you bema. And the more your bar, I didn't know John Hammer buying, or betcha ye say, oh, ye bema, afraid the ut because of feeling to your bar. My catchum so John Mahama is an antichrist. My catchum say Mahama the case ebe bagana so. And so for man sorry na man for man sorry. Or man or bono. That must say.
Asem ni na ene say. Ese Ghana ye de. Name mum ade bia de bia no bon no bata ho. Yen chance way back to yen ko ye papa honorable Kofo John Ejikun Kofo. Also, on that breast night, you start here, and again, some LGBTQ, why, everybody swan, I saw a sign, and a some, a good year and a boy. And check now, Yadina, the late John Atamos, also Basso, also saw your person, yes, I didn't do to me, also didn't say, I'm Fufian to attack by the boy, and a John Dramani Mahama, ever to us, also insanely post insanely poor ones who went to me. And I had on also sounds on the time of swing of free so ena nana adodankwa ekufu adon so baaye ono so yeso obesan yesi onsan obesan onsan ono so de ne saa na adan edrumi bi mpokra no eba se curriculum bi baaye that was 2019 curriculum bi baaye a na ye de kire yenkora ewo JHS no primary school no new curriculum na baaye nkora na ehim that games na ehim sexual immorality na ehim a ye kan ho nsɛm a Christian Council for so mu kan ho nsɛm a ma fe de saa curriculum no that page ho no etikoda ye a yanka ho asɛm bio enene mu ananado etwa no 8 we no boy John Dramani Mahama ba no ba ye no sesi ano wa be implement letter ye di akoma Ghana education service that secondary school for no any say LGBTQ no ye be implement new curriculum bi about physical education and no physical education once okọ secondary school physical education a core subject but they say no ya buy no elective subject e dey ba be kan subject a secondary school for no esua no enti that LGBTQ no ehim enti say wo ye abofra wo ye oba wo ye bema na se wo feel say wo betimi ne wo sex partner bi say wo ye oba na wo betimi ne oba ba ko be feel say oye bema na ba ko so feel say oye oba on betimi ayeden a practice so oba so feel say oye bema no feel say o feel woni mu say opese odane no ho say oba emum otu edua na emo feel say opese oye oba ono nso ewo ne right say be feel say oye oba na one bema aye pemu agro enti oba to oba bema to oba say na Ghana education nakafo omo implement ede ahye book nimu omo print ya photocopy ede ahye book nimu physical education that was elective no omo de ahye mu say chi awo say omo kire teacher for kire nkwadaa no e wo school mu say gay and lesbian enya de a ya de bone
of a sudden ye to obawie ye fine now senka eye enunku a akanya ya naka ye da sori ya ye se efra bibi teacher manual ne ye de teacher manual ne ye se ye de curriculum akoma eye a teacher for se omo fan kira de no esi emma wo mo manual akoye se wakoto TV how to set up so ye the curriculum na bro na ebom no part of the curriculum no esi emma wo manual wo de be kira de so 2025 physical education and health elective teacher manual ye de ma teacher for no ironically the apostles of LGBT anti-LGBT campaign omo bemu na you see say urefi ohu a da bia be yemfonso sa ban we ya na John Mahama oni Andrew Solomon koda ampaso so if John Mahama on a second term eka kire say obeko atia galams LGBT were you really expecting that oba fighting against LGBT we are normal John Mahama wotimi president wotimi ne bema koda ampaso president o reduce your governance to that level say bema and wo bema edampaso when he was the president on Andrew Solomon Kodam and you actually thought that sani pano senya another opportunity obesa ba so young nan sorry teacher manual no se mo ready if it's very clear teacher manual no omodi ahye eye ase tienie teacher manual ne say now there is a different definition gender identity and internal experience tienie recognition of non-binary identities. Eti say yekase gender identity eye oba ne be ma no. Ene joma bemu teacher manual ye dia ma eye enkola no so omo nkosua de no mo ready ba bia ya circle ne blue no a oso omo de omo nyintum ma teacher fo ne nyintum se eye oba ne bema ana ye the only gender muti asem yo me hu ye ke kasa gender de eye either male or female eti Church of Christ ni anka wa ban mu de and yamatan sa we thought that we will not probably see some nemom yada sorry here gender na ye define no or say it refers to a person's deeply felt internal experience of gender. It's inaka president to say the 2024 it will buy in one shim yaman oversight responsibility adwuma say one woman yemran nche ma ba wa no wo munsua ne ma papa which corresponds with a social cultural practices no almost omo de dabi e say no Ghana for asofo munyina ma yedin saa na kufu ado ba ye ne first year second year munyina mu yedin ni eka eduru ba bia mu hunu say ya akode kina mu sha ase be kan na John de ensu ye mu bi ye hunu nyoma ne bebre ye ka asofo nyina yedin Reverend Genocide wa yedin ayi papa ya ne minimu kakraka ya ote ayi Spinkters Danka Williams wa yedin ene ye kire ye ma no say ntrumu ye acceptable obi anka ho asem asofo obi anka ho asem ede dia na ejigezi mu didi say tam eti asofo ni nyina ensem hunu nkomse we na ensem ni obofo mo sha ase na mo kabie mo ntimi nkabi ubegina wa na aye obi ade ne nsa be ka joma ama bia obi ade ne nsa be ka joma ama bia obofo we ni ade ahye ya ade mu si ye nkola nkosua sese ye ni oba eni bema ye wo bema ana ye wo de akola no afili eti edu ba bi na se ofisi ye twa ne tredu akora ma ne oba ye makwa ma ne ye
Ebusia asemaba the honorable minister honorable Sam George ababekasa afa tumutumu sensemo a ekokoso no na Sam George ese in fact se ono Sam George etiase no President John Dramani Mahama pewu se on pewu eye den ya bill ne de obesign ebusia osese Mahama an sign bill na enye de Mahama ho beton da e won akasa na brabo mu no wie no tutu bi edima na nado dan kwekufado moment Sam George
President Mahama has been clear that he will sign that bill and he has no option than to sign that bill. President Mahama will know no peace from Sam George until he signs that bill. And he himself has said that to the clergy, that as a Christian, as a member of the Assemblies of God Church, he will sign that bill. What the president said to the BBC was in response to why President Akufo-Addo has not signed the bill. And he said to them, look, what you, President Akufo-Addo, should have done, instead of rejecting service of the bill, was to have received the bill, stated what his displeasure is with the bill, which is what the Constitution says. The Constitution in Article 1067, President Mahama in his response to the BBC was referring to the Constitution of Ghana. Article 1067 says that when he gets to the president, he must within 14 days indicate whether he would sign or not sign. If he chooses not to sign, he then has to bring it back to Parliament and then state in the memo to Parliament the reasons why he's refusing to sign and add the recommendations to remedy those challenges he sees. Otherwise, within the 14 days, he can refer it within 30 days. He can refer it to the Council of State, who have 30 days to give him advice. That's what President Mahama was saying in that BBC interview. He was not saying that he now has to read the bill. President Mahama has read the bill. It's because he's read the bill that he told the clergy that when he becomes president, he will sign the bill, because President Mahama has no problem with anything in the bill. That explanation he was given was basically what the president should have done as a lawyer in line with our constitution, because the president's decision not to have service of the bill on him is unconstitutional and shows you how reckless and irresponsible Akufo-Addo is.
It is here, do we have to trust and believe Nakase withdrawal of these books? No,
you cannot trust Nakabim. Oma breach GD Ghana for you because
for allowing this to even come.
When one a print to you, Nakana a print to you. And your private school be a coin one can say, one farm, one head into the Kotiquine. We one can say go. So being put as a ma the mandate of Nakana said you Yasama be a wild butchery review. Answer why approve their print into why you need every and why dear to their print are printed and now we know in a pew and ye raise the alarm and run and so no the wild the by so was the son enso ne de wo fi se waje atum ne nso no wo kan so sexuality no enso basa, meaning say we can't trust you further. And that is why we are saying, sir, a deliberate systemic attempt, a high level attempt.
And also a week one topic.
Because a chronic free bro nya buy and only did this year almost first into your first you said your what being fresh from New Year resolution, the way abom bad they were poison until the rest of the year. Boarding house, why wouldn't him be a coso? St. John,
sexuality now. Almost a broad range of concepts related to sexual feelings, thoughts, attractions, and behaviors towards other people.
Others.
It includes sexual orientation, sexual behavior, and
gender,
sexual identity.
Yes, can you say one more
reviewed one?
If they have changed
a framework, because I mean, say feelings towards others.
One more so-called review.
Sexuality, the one Honorable Apak said. Sexuality, a broad range of concepts related to sexual feelings, thoughts, attractions, and behaviors toward other people. It includes sexual orientation, sexual behavior, and sexual identity.
No, team for you and the and no elephant be the costume. And you win a pack and I say, you are more revised, sacrosanct version. How different is it from this one? That is why I'm telling you, say Obi. Me raise the alarm, no. I only highlighted gender identity. So fast now, no more
gender. Gender. But also sexual orientation, which is number 3.
It's the same.
In the book, no, it describes a person's pattern of emotional, romantic, or sexual attraction to others. Because I would have thought, say, Sankawosha Obane Bema, Ebia, you do
opposite sex,
sexual attraction to the opposite sex.
Yes, and
but to say to others, no.
Who they read one almost so-called revised version, so that it's not about team for you saying something.
Sexual orientation, it describes a person's pattern of emotional, romantic, or sexual attraction to others.
No, version we almost say revised, no. And we end this in what to aba. Na say we na education minister and deputy minister and we naka director general say womo asa asemupo ba ho no womo asa tena se asemu no we any ade kwakọ kire wo ba na so ato aba pa enti ntimfo jo nka na no ntumu a na abeti ase se me sorry na me kan bibia enye mischief enye malice enye time enye politics eye de matena se ahwehwem ebe ha wo man no and am de tudwa. This is about credibility. Enti we sankam de nina tudwa hyese na enkwa fast na nkomuko yi na ga ntimfo jo kra na o twantro. Now when I just did just one, all of them right. And see, when crisis be basa before I'll be issue statement, you know, call all you be from Jubilee House.
Yes.
Wo na kane one minister nti munyina mo ko Jubilee House ko see our president na mubobo mu no na mo ditu said this is the way forward, no the mode ba ni nti no. If I conclude say the introduction of LGBT to schools a government agenda and deliberate one and mischief na ye de we end this nimpa else wutie na sopam na wo ma ye nyina ye sorry waka sabre we ye sofo we imam we ohene we penny bi wo Ghana ha na a few years ago we demonstration ti aban we twam because we feel say bia na LGBT nsem bi no wani enshada hu say de eko wanye aban na ni say obebo values bi hu ban sabre mpo no obi amprenti bibi say anko to school mu na ye demonstration na say ne wo say we NDC ni and now we MPP ni kra aka wan atum because aban wo goodwill we near de kire mmofra no se man sore waka enka they will not even come out to change that gender identity. And when they even came out to change the gender identity, far will be ample say yes because
the other definitions no leaves
they are all problematic.
They are all problematic.
That is right.
But then you leave the space open. So okay, say sexual orientation emotional, romantic, or sexual attraction to others.
What do you mean by
that's
others?
Like
you are a lawyer. Obi, what we are elder, SI lawyer, and Mrenuni. And you know what is the legal implications in Trasia and Tiasia? Now, for to your constitution, now the proposed LGBT new proposals are NDC Constitutional Review Committee no pese pass referendum ho na fato to ho say enkosisi so pepepe. Will that be a coincidence? A coincidence. You start here and I can say, hey, a brab person Mahama can say a catcher Catholic Bishop Conference LGBT man cry in here. Yen cause some curriculum when I'm you say me. And it's our curriculum now, President Mahama can say cause sano or more science said teacher manual and ye into way near say they baby boy home by no.
In when how you teach and the way brewa. You cannot teach students outside this.
You cannot teach it. Because supervision will even flag it because you are teaching a different concept out of what see a bra naka for this statement by ya omoye no tro can say we teacher manual optional and important no one say omuni mo adwuma. And if today we still have a board chair drawing salary and allowance in Naka and we have a director general in Naka who is trying to shift blame with that statement, then Ghana we are not a serious country. Now almost say or a optional open a option can all the taxpayers money eco print distribute to the schools because you see one curriculum implementation as here I spent 4 years at Ministry of Education as deputy. Well curriculum now you tease out of that framework and print and develop other material to say teacher manuals, teacher guide, textbooks, any supplementary material. But the most critical a teacher because the teacher and they coach crano and our crano be reproduce, especially in our era of two employee. Two employees, yes, the teacher never can one can the same thing and farmer now. Ube tino. Not a teacher, GES and the Ministry of Education in Naka. Asma at the woman we are command at the directive account say going forward and woman witness or the children. Now Kurano, Ujana and female and male view, the wow feely, the wow pe, and the NRM for home, na the opeso ye biano. Ube to me, you can even have a blend of both. Nasa wona can also say and important teacher manual is the pedagogical guide.
Teachers they train.
And none ye they also can we now they call a lesson plan. And no much we can every actually week two near woman. And you know we see the best course of action now. As a Ghanaian phone na 8 years support and they say yeah for money ye. For policies and tonchain, Montreal statement directive and co schools nina and the regional directors nina and recall hard copies nina. Ma recall you every digital version, online version, mundility. Namomren trase. Yet trase we are,
and we all agree on the
and they agree with all the stakeholders, CSOs, education committee. You never tell me. Ni ahwe ni atiase ni de atoto ya mamra ho na de egitum ni amamra ni moral fabric and culture de egitum na contest no ye de semu wi a answer yakọ ni akọ print de akọ ni ye release online version ni ade no ye wi anu wi a e was the director general of Naka de se wokokra na mo minister of education de e se oba. For me I will be most Parliament. Oh yes, I'll be most unfair to say I'm calling for the head of the minister. I've been a minister before, a deputy minister before, and you know if Naka does this shoddy job, now Ekoba even though be far minister and you are answerable there. But I would not say if anybody's head must be called, it should be the minister. No, but minister no emra after the Naka na one year Jumayi nekodo. Omra may answer questions going then see intia we buy ewia then no year a be safeguard there nipa foforo mobile point no on kohese bibi say be san kwakosi biu because me ra hopa because enra meant to me intercept nyoma year a wo school see for over 1 week one more dia kire nkwara yi ama dede ama ho a enka Naka emma magin tum say no kura na bibi sa ho na afi ye ba behwese ye betumi asesa no a
afi do maji atum.
Oh yes, o my issue statement
me nya hu
oh ma men send ma na kan
send ma me na men kan
na statement no mpo no tro kan oh
I was sending the time ben
enra na so I demanded that they must immediately withdraw the books.
Time ben nyumre na ye news no wie na
nyumre no so sa bre nyina no mo de huti pempem ehwe kwan o me fa so a
send ma
send ma sisi a ma me nchia atifo na me na me teacher fu yi ase because se nkanye me teacher fu yi a wo mo ehwe achiri pa ede maye womo na etumi eye ya ma yetumi womo prompting me say behwe books bi e dia bra ese en fan kira de na in fact some books no ya de a say just teacher for cry confused because curriculum omunim say de kira de ye ni dija womo now all of a sudden order from above baye so omunya eno na we eno mo fan kira de no na aye binum na by binum so no they were not suspecting say subtle introduction ebi ebebenti no eba ye no so mo fa ne trasa ade kire mo frey ade eti for 1 week no wo de sa concept say gender no bi anim say you oba ne be ma no ene wo mo aba besisa no say gender a person deeply felt internal experience of gender which may or may not correspond with the say fa ho ne say you oba na say you be ma no de wo feel what think ka wonya wo mu so feel say we you otumi your oba san ye be ma na we your oba kra to me feel say ye be ma atinka no na fa ye na oba ne be ma de fa to nchen and it goes on it can include being male female or blend of both dangerous so eja we dey are saying say emofra no it can gender so you oba ne be ma no there be enye oba ne be ma bi no it can include being male female or a blend of both. At the time of President Trump, wa wono abrofo na wo de LGBT kra ba ya kane no na we are ben bi na a developing country kra uso se you wan hia wan kwaje LGBT ehun samsam ne you wan twe ho anya ye antra ba bia wo de sanctions bebro ono kra ba ye no se wo ye school na wa America na se sabi nyoma huni we e wo textbook mu a they cut funding to your school se sika pa bebo akohoma obetwam and one making sure say they are sanitizing the American schools. And some human where we move that ye free mo or some foreign ambassadors crown or President Trump. As they say, say or no the foreign policy no we envoy we ambassador now ko krubi so no minor say one the LGBT in some number beji ya to mo afa ne brand sanction no. And then bring President Mahama. Etias ye ne or no actually under him.
But why will you blame
the Minister of Education?
Why will you blame President Mahama?
President Mahama, because you see, agenda of LGBT, no, a high level implementation. LGBT agenda, no, and yet, and your kumao, and yet low level say, be sorry, ya na say was me cross me LGBT. A high level governmental pressure, high level governmental lobbying, high level governmental, conditionalities. And you know, ubehebe mo and that's a sanction ya woman to Ghana force ni ade ne nyoma bebre no mo you omu free mu you sika bia omo perfia ma no ne ade IMF ne wa ho obehwe mu no na they have to demonstrate in their schools that they are teaching these things